Super Mario 3D World. This is one of those games that came out on the Nintendo Wii U that hardly anyone played because nobody owned a Wii U, and thankfully was ported to the Switch, like a lot of these Wii U games. This one came out way back in 2013, believe it or not. It does not feel like it was that long ago. It really doesn't. But apparently, this game came out in 2013 for the Wii U. The Switch didn't get a port until 2021. Yeah, I needed a calculator for that. Can you believe that's 8 years later? Man, that's crazy. Super Mario 3D Land came out in 2011? Holy jeez. I literally thought Super Mario 3D Land came out after this. Wow. Okay. So Super Mario 3D Land's way older than I thought, and Super Mario 3D World here is just a lot older than I thought. Again, no, not very many people bought a Wii U, and so a lot of these games over the years have been ported to the Switch, and I'm very glad this one was. This is just a fun, classic Super Mario Brothers game, classic platformer. Get to the end of the level, get to the flagpole. It's great fun, and it's not perfect. There's times where my depth perception feels like it's a little bit off. When you're trying to like jump on a little Goomba, or even just, if you've got the cat suit on and you can swipe at enemies. Sometimes it feels like you ran into the enemy when you didn't think you were that close, or you swipe and you're not close enough. So I don't really know exactly what's up with that. Of course, you can move the camera around if you always want it to be a side-scroller, but it's not always a side-scroller. It's like 60% of the time it's a side-scroller, and 40% of the time you're going into the screen. But again, you can move the camera at any time. So if you don't want the camera to be behind you, you can swing it around. I guess if you constantly do that, then at all times it could be a side-scroller. I think there's times when you can't always move the camera, just depending on the level, and if it's like a tight area. There may be times where you have to move forward into the screen. So it is a 3D game, but most of the time it plays like a 2D game. It's got controls that snap to 8 directions. So it's not like a full 360 Mario 64 style control with the analog stick. It snaps to one of 8 directions, so it snaps to your diagonals. And for the most part, that's fine. I think in this game, again, most of the time it plays like a 2D game. It plays like a traditional Super Mario Brothers platformer. Just get to the end of the level, get to the flagpole. There's a couple things in the levels that you have to collect. In some levels you have to collect keys, usually 5, I think. And in every level there's green stars. There's 3 green stars. These are like Yoshi coins in Super Mario World. They're optional to a degree. You do need so many of them to proceed past certain levels, to enter like Bowser's Castle at the end of the world, of each world. You need so many green stars, but you certainly don't need all of them. And so getting like all 3 green stars in each level is optional. I like that you can go back at any time and get the green stars. If you get like the first and the third in a level, then you know that the one you missed is somewhere in the middle. So usually, you get to the checkpoint, and at that point you realize it's probably nearby, and so it's easy to find. If you've missed the one, the first one or the third one or the second one in the middle of the level, and it saves it. So if you beat the level and you got the first and the third, you can always go back at any time to get the second. So I do like that. Each level also has like a stamp, just an extra thing that you can collect, and those can be sometimes a little trickier to find, hidden a little bit more in the levels. So a little bit of collectathon, but not overly so. It's no Banjo and Kazooie. You got 3 stars, you got a stamp, And the stamp's really, again, just optional. Maybe once you unlock all of them, or maybe once you get all of them, it unlocks something. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I've definitely not found most of them. Again, most of them are hidden pretty well. But I found a fair bit, I guess. But again, you can always go back at any time and try and find the stamp in a level. So yeah, decent replayability. I like this style of game for the most part. Like I said, sometimes with me the depth perception's a little strange. Obviously on the 3DS, Super Mario 3D Land, you had actual depth. And I've played that game on a 2DS and sort of felt the same way, but honestly almost maybe not as bad as this one at times. And it's not like all the time. It's just like certain areas where the camera is, I guess. It's not a huge deal. Overall, it's a simple game, but it's got enough challenge in the levels, enough replayability. I love the bright and colorful graphics and the music. It's just good fun. I also really like the little Toad treasure hunter thing, little extra. They're little like secret levels. I think there's one per world where you play as Toad, and he can't jump or attack enemies. And his levels are almost all cube-like little puzzle levels, I guess. Like it's kind of a maze-like, figuring out how to weave him through this cube-like maze where you can rotate the camera around because you need to see all around to see where he's got to go. Neat little puzzle elements, and it's kind of neat how he can't jump or attack. Obviously, this like spawned off into its own game, and I gotta say, I don't know if I like it that much that I want to play a whole game of this, but as like little bonus levels, it's actually awesome. We've also got included in this Switch remake, or remaster, I guess, we've got this Bowser's Fury, which was like a special, add-on, additional content, and it's completely different than Super Mario 3D World or 2D 3D Land. I was going to say 2D Land. It's completely different than the 3D Land, 3D World style of games. It plays more like Super Mario Odyssey. It almost feels more like it's DLC for Super Mario Odyssey. It has full 360 controls. It doesn't snap to 8 directions like this one does. And the camera's mostly behind you more of the time. The levels are a little more open. You could be in the middle of the level and you've got to explore out in all directions. It's not like it's not like you start at the beginning, the level's fairly linear, get to the end, get to the flagpole. That's what Super Mario 3D World is all about. You start at the beginning, just get to the end, just like any old school 2D Mario game. But Bowser's Fury plays more like a traditional 3D, plays more like Odyssey with like a big open level. So it's almost a completely different game. Nonetheless, I guess it's cool it's in here. They almost could have made it a little bit bigger and sold it as a separate game. Probably would have sold just as many copies as 3D World. So I guess props to Nintendo for once for not milking a franchise, I guess. Reselling a game that actually this included a separate game. I bought this just for Super Mario 3D World because, like most people, I had never played it. Most of you, I'm assuming, never owned a Wii U, and most of you, therefore, never played Super Mario 3D World. So, getting it on the Switch is really like the first time getting the game. And so, yeah, the fact that I guess there's a second game included is really a bonus. So value is pretty high in this one. Replay value is pretty good. Yeah, I like this game. It's fun.